New York.
Apple.
Hot dogs.
Dollar.
Hollywood.
Democracy.
Freedom.
Rock and roll. Wall Street.
Statue of Liberty.
Los Angeles, California. McDonald's.
Jeans.
Bubblegum. Video games. Nintendo.
What's so great about America?
Every Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m., explore American culture and language.
With Master Steve,
Ina MK,
And Hasba Cutie.
tune in to find out about what makes America so great.
The Great American Weekend. Listen exclusively on Radio Van 103.1.
Also, watch us on the Radio Von Facebook page, website, and mobile app.
Oh my goodness. Hello, dear listeners of Radio Van, the Great American Weekend.
What? All you crazy listeners out there, it's the Great American Weekend.
And this was Hasva QT, and now we are gonna listen to Master Steve's word.
Word of the
Really?
day.
Hello.
I'm up already.
Butter us with your
How are
buttery
you
voice.
guys doing? We're excited, aren't we?
Yeah. It's been a fun day so far. It's
Oh
been a
my
fun
goodness,
day.
it's been a crazy day for all of us.
busy.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Because today is International Children's
Day.
So there are lots of things going on today around the city for kids.
My inner child is very happy.
Your inner child is very happy.
And I think all children that have walked around the city, joining all the events, were really happy as well today.
I
think
wasn't
so.
because I was stuck in a car. Thanks a lot, kids.
You were stuck in a
Thanks a
car.
lot.
Yeah.
Oh, because Bagramian was closed
Yeah.
down. You
Yeah.
had to go the long way around.
The
and you were
Armenian
stuck in
Art
traffic.
Fair is like conveniently placed outside of Bagramian, so every time I go there, I'm like, "Oh, you rascally kids! Here's your day."
Sorry, it was our fault.
I know you breeders.
So what was going on Bagramian? You know, what was happening?
So we were part of the organizing staff of the, well, actually we were the staff of the organizers of the event, which was going on the segment of the beginning of Bagramian and Demirchan corner till the end of Chekhov Street.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
They cut off the police,
Yeah.
cut off the thing, and they're what
And
was
also,
it?
It was all for children. There were animators walking around and entertaining kids. We had the zip line in the very center of the park of the
So Mickey
National
Mouse was there. Minnie Mouse
Parliament.
was there.
Yeah.
Transformers were
Minions
there.
were there.
Minions. There were
Magicians.
American dominance
Magicians
continues.
show
Gecko
was
and
there.
Owlette from PJ Masks, and
Yeah.
a couple of the dogs from what was it? I forget
Yeah,
what the name of the-
rescuers.
Rescuers Down Under?
Rescue Pets. It
Rescue
was
Pets.
Marshall and Sky. I forget what cartoon they're from.
I just remember
Yeah.
Rescuers Down Under.
We can
The
ask.
Rescues. That was a great.
We
that
can
was a
the
ask
great
cartoon,
movie.
right?
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the original Rescuers, the Disney cartoons.
I think
Oh, those were
Stephen, I
good.
think you need help.
What?
We need some
Well,
younger
yeah, we'll have-
people to rescue us with the
With
rescuer's
the names
name.
with the names of the cartoons.
Yeah.
So we will have help.
It
later.
was fun. And also grown-ups became like kids. They were laughing and enjoying the shows and
finally,
watching the
grown-ups
puppet
becoming
theater.
like kids. Thank God. Just like let it take a load off, guys.
Just like in the perfect world that we wish for. So yeah, tonight's episode is National Children's Day and also Fast Food Festival.
Yeah. So we're going to have several guests tonight,
Mhm.
kind of
Bunch
like we
of
did last
guests.
week. Yeah, a bunch of guests. So first we have Girard Avanyan, who will be here. He is the owner of Dolmama and the Flying Ostrich.
Love that place.
He's one of the organizers of the Fast Food Festival that will be in Dilijan later on this month. After that, in the second hour of the show, we're going to have Emmy come and join us for a
Yay.
short interview.
Cutest.
And then we're going to
Cutest
have
girl.
Katya, Guyana, and Daniela come in. So we're going to have the second hour of the show is going to be all with and about kids.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I want to ask all the existential questions that I can so I could get the honest truth. Because I feel like kids have, how like kids have that like this like really unabashed, direct way of answering, and especially if like they don't get it, they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm just gonna ask like, "What's the meaning of life?" And
That might work with Emmy. She's a youngin'. She's a little one. But I don't know how well that's going to work with the others. They're teenagers, so they might be a little wily. They might evade the question. We'll see.
Cool.
We'll see.
So what's number one memory of your childhood, guys?
My number one memory of my childhood, I think it was when I first began playing with fire. Because no, seriously, when
It
I
is
got
International
permission,
Children's Day. This is the children's episode. But now, parents, you need to have your
Explosives,
children
fire.
go into the other room because we're going to talk about playing with fire.
I'm just thinking about what is like the because my father, when he would do barbecue, because every Armenian family does barbecue, he was kind of like, "Son, I see you're very much interested in fire. Why don't you take a stick and put it into the barbecue and see what happens?" And then after that, I could say fire was my first true love.
Oh,
And then after that,
Lord
it was
of
like
the Fire.
fireworks.
Hazva
Yeah.
cutie.
I mean, it's like so primal, the fascination with flame and heat.
I think
and,
I think we need to change the programming for the first music break.
and it's like, give him the cane.
Jimi Hendrix Fire, I think, is the
Quick, get him off
You know,
there.
because we warn kids not to play with the fire.
Yes,
this is like number.
okay. If there are any kids listening out there,
and with matches. Don't
only,
play with
only
matches.
play with fire if your parents give you permission and are in the
are
vicinity
standing
and guidance.
next to you with
The
a fire
supervision.
extinguisher.
Yes, exactly. With parental supervision, especially if there's gasoline and fireworks involved. Because I can tell you,
Do not repeat this.
I can tell you from experience, it's not very pretty.
Okay, guys. And now I see.
Fire is not a toy; it's a divinity.
Now I
Yes.
see.
No, wait a second.
Yes.
We converted from Zoroastrianism to Christianity in this country
Yes,
1,700 and
but
some
the
years
roots,
ago.
all the roots and foundations of the churches are still devoted to the pagan gods of light. So
Yeah,
still,
but that's not unusual. I mean, that goes on all throughout the world.
I see the signal of fire on my screen, which says that we're
We
ready
gotta
for a
go.
break.
commercial break.
And this is the Great American Weekend, our show, which is in English, on air every Saturday from 7 to 9 with Hazva QT, Master Steve.
And Ina MK.
Thank you. We'll be back soon. Stay tuned. We've got some fun stuff for you and really, really cool people.
Come and hang with us every weekend. It'll be a blast.
A blast?
Yeah, a good time.
No, come chill with us. It'll be cool.
Chill?
Yeah, relax, hang out.
Come choose the fat with us.
Yuck! No way! Join us!
On the Great American Weekend, where we'll help you decode American slang.
And we're also gonna decode secrets of childhood happiness tonight. We're back. This is our episode on childhood, International Children's Day, and also Fast Food Festival. And we're gonna host soon Giray Ravanyan, who is one of the organizers of this event in Dilijan. He's gonna tell us all the details about this event and also how he became one of the gurus of this sphere. And also we are going to welcome here children.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that later, though. Let's
Yeah,
keep
it's a
them in
surprise.
suspense. We're
Yeah.
going to have kids. We're going to be lousy with kids
Yeah.
the second half of the show. And that's slang for like we're going to have all sorts of them, all kinds.
Okay,
no,
what
we're
does
gonna
that
have,
mean?
We're going to have 4
Lousy
kids.
with kids.
Lousy. To say you're lousy with something literally can mean that you're bad at it. But most of the time, say like we're going to be lousy with kids. Like we're going to have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Reading with kids. Yeah.
Come over to my apartment, take a look, man. It's lousy with books. I've got books all over the place.
We're gonna give up the studio.
We're going to give up the studio.
We'll just leave. Let
Okay.
them play here.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if they do anything wrong, we'll be able to watch with the cameras and come in and intervene before they start the place on fire or anything.
And speaking of new words,
So, slang, I'm just going to do a little bit with that, not a whole lot, but other terms for children.
Kitty winkies.
Kitties,
Poopy.
kiddos,
Puppy trained.
youngins.
Potty trained.
Potty trained?
My kid is potty trained. I mean, this is what moms
That
tell
would be
with
great.
pride.
Actually, that's not actually a slang term for children, but it'd be great to be like, this is my potty train. Because it's literally like a little being that is making a line of poop everywhere it goes. So it's like, this is my potty
No,
train.
it's not really like that. That's not really how it works.
How with kids? No?
At
I don't
least
know.
not
I
with
don't know.
mine.
You guys know more.
So yeah, the little ones,
He
the
knows for
Rugrats,
sure.
the Rugrats.
Rugrats?
Yeah,
Rugrats, yeah.
Rugrats.
Yeah.
They crawl around
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
carpet.
Runts.
Runts. Runts was Runts or Rugrats was a cartoon, wasn't it?
Rugrats was
Rugrats was a cartoon.
Yeah,
Runts,
Nickelodeon.
where is it? Yeah.
Little Runts.
Little Runts. Yeah, Little Runts. Ankle biters.
Ankle biters, yes.
Munchkins. So, and then like Armenian.
Little pumpkin.
Yeah, I mean, in
Bundles of
Armenian,
joy.
you've got
Bundles
in
of
Armenian,
joy.
you've got
Yeah.
the little suffixes, the little things that you add to the
Janik.
end. Yeah, ik.
It's like
Right.
Stivik, Aramazik,
Kutik.
Kutik, Inulik.
Yeah, and in English, you do that as like a term of endearment, for
JK.
someone that's close to you. But more often, you do it for kids, and so like like Steve-O,
Oh, I've never heard that.
Steve-O, or
Aramasto.
I-E, Stevie.
Stevie, yeah,
Yeah.
I like that more. I use it a lot.
Or you can use a Y, Stevie.
yeah.
But it depends on how the
JK.
spelling is.
I always like the Stevenator.
Okay.
Like that.
That's something different.
That's, that's only after hours.
The longer I hear you, Hasva, the more I realize that you had some kind of a different childhood. You want to talk about it?
Sure.
How else would we end up with an adult like this if you had a normal childhood?
No, I wasn't. I was
That's a compliment.
It is.
I was definitely a
That's
son of
for sure.
immigrants. I had a very high learning curve. I didn't have a saturated, very solid foundational life. So no. So just for all you kids out there, remember, if your parents are in one place for a long time, you're lucky.
Oh, yeah.
On International
Yeah.
Children's Day.
Yeah.
And I've got some quotes here, if you guys don't mind. And
Please do.
let's discuss some
Always
of them
time for
because
the quotes.
some of them are kind of, we might agree and disagree on them. So the first one is,
I disagree that we might agree and disagree.
okay. And I agree that we might disagree and agree.
You see, we agree to disagree.
I'm going to be a curmudgeon and just disagree with everything.
Master, say something.
Curmudgeon.
You're wrong. I dislike that.
Master.
No, do that with kids, okay? When
I
they
think
come.
like every time we say master, I think both you and I should break out into like
And
master.
No. I think we should bow down and just.
I don't know about
obey.
About bowing, but I'll definitely do the song.
Look at his face.
I know
he likes
Steve is so
it.
happy. He's like, yes, that's what I want.
I'm happy because I've got a Metallica song running through my head right now.
He's happy because he's got a bunch of. Okay,
Let's go. The quotes.
All grown-ups were once children, but only few of them remember it.
Remember what?
That they were once children.
He's completely
Cutie.
forgot.
I'm already there. I'm still a kid. What are you talking
So
about?
this is again from one of my favorite books, Fairy Tales for Grown-Ups, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And the point was to remember that not to forget your childhood, not to forget what periods you went through when you were a child.
According to a really simple reading of Freud, I mean, you can't forget your childhood because that's where all your problems come from.
Yeah,
Here
true.
we go again.
Here we go.
Really
have
poor
time.
Freudian analysis.
We have time for one more quote, then we'll have to go on a break and get ready to welcome our guests. So I'm gonna pick one here, the one that is kind of controversial.
I like a happy childhood
go
is
ahead.
the worst possible preparation for life.
Yeah, this is what I was looking for.
It's true. You know what? It's
Because
true.
once you grow up, it sucks.
And
But
you know,
once you grow up, you face the real reality.
I love the
yeah?
name of the person whose quote that is, Kinky Friedman. I want a
Who
name
is
like
that?
that. I know, just like,
Who
can you
is-
guys,
I want a
I'm
name.
can you
hoping
guys
that's a nickname. Otherwise,
give me my second nickname, my third nickname, because it's Hazva QT Masti. Can my just third nickname be Kinky? You guys just call me Kinky from now on, just because of this quote.
Kinky QT.
Kinky QT. Hello, hello.
Okay, hello, advertisement.
Goodbye,
and,
goodbye.
and music break. And we'll be back. And the song will be We Are the World, We Are the Children.
Oh, that's like a perfect song.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready to welcome them. Stay tuned. This is the Great American Weekend with my dear and lovely and cutie and clever co-host Hazva QT, Master Steve. And
What?
Ina MK.
See you soon.
We'll
See
be
you
back.
soon.
Radio 1.
We are the world. We are the children. We are all children when it comes to different
Welcome
things.
to the Great American Weekend. We are back, and you asked in the previous segment about childhood memories, and I remember that song so vividly from when I was a kid. And at one point, I could listen to the song and recognize every voice that did
Really?
a solo and name the person. I'm old now, and my memory is not very good.
Oh, come on.
So
You are a musical
I can
person.
still get like maybe 30% of them.
Which music you're talking?
This song.
Oh,
the
this one.
yeah, We
Oh,
Are the
no,
World.
I was an older man
And
already
you've got-
doing this one.
You've got everybody in that song. Bruce
Yeah,
Springsteen,
pretty much everybody.
Bob Dylan, Cyndi Lauper. I mean, just everybody. So, but
But
guys.
welcome to our studio, dear Girait Avanyan. Welcome with applause.
I've done this in Armenian once before, right? I've been here.
Here, I'm going to switch special applause just for you. Here you go. Now we're ready to talk with our personality who is going to tell us about his success story in the Armenian and not only Armenian markets.
Basically, we were just discussing how the theme came about with some of you guys outside. And it's a great fading into a children's story because it's a retrospective of my life through music. It has been rock and roll. I'm still a rocker. You can take a farmer out of a farm, but you cannot take the farm out of a farmer. So you can't take rock and roll away from me. So I decided to do something in Dilijan. Okay.
so what exactly are you doing in Dilijan?
Well,
And when?
When I wanted to open the restaurant, it was to be named the 60s.
Really?
Now it's called Flying Ostrich. But at that time, the first thought came to me, it was 60, 60'S, meaning to say that's how it all started. And then I decided it's too selfish. Let me call it another stupid name, and the stupid name came up was Flying Ostrich.
Is there a story behind that, or was it just
About
something
the
you?
ostrich or the 60s?
About the ostrich.
Well, the ostrich was, ostriches do not fly.
Making the impossible possible.
Yeah.
Or was it just something absurd?
Christianity, basically.
Okay. All right.
Unbelievable.
Now, the festival. So from the Flying Ostrich to the
But
festival.
I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
I wanted to have background music, always rock and roll. But things moved away from me a little bit. I lost complete control of it. So I decided I'm going to get my hands back on it. I'm going to bring people back to rock and roll and Flying Ostrich. So decided to do a festival called Fest Food and Rock and Roll Eclectica.
So now it's fest food.
It's fest food. Food
Festival
for festival.
food. Yeah, okay.
Basically burgers, chilies,
So-
kebab.
Yeah, it reminds fast food.
Yeah,
The
it's
sa-
fast
the
food, but
sounding.
people said fast food is a bad
association.
with food, and since I'm a restaurateur, I'm not supposed. I agreed with it, so I played with the word.
Okay. Well, you can have good fast food.
Oh, definitely, we are going to have good fast.
I mean,
food.
there's a difference between
We're going to
fast
make
food and
hamburger
junk
from
food.
meat. We're going to make sausages that we make from meat.
Nice.
It's going to be pastrama and egg sandwiches like people love. So basically, it is going to be real good food, but it is going to be eaten fast because we're going to be listening to music, drinking beer. We have
Wine.
If you tell me
beer,
there are,
wine, and
Vodka.
local moonshine.
if you say there are
So a
bagels
drink
there,
in one
I'm there.
hand.
No,
No bagels.
but I'm a bagel man.
I love bagels.
I love bagels.
I love
That
bagels,
was my
even though I'm
morning
keto.
breakfast every day in the United States.
And
So a drink in one hand, some walk-in food in the other, like a burger, a sausage, and good rock and roll music playing in the background. When is this happening? Please tell me it's happening tomorrow because I
it's
really
not.
need
It's in
this.
2 weeks. It's starting on the 14th, Friday. Friday in the afternoon we will start. It will go on till night, and then the next day it will start earlier, and it will go on till night, and then we'll continue on Sunday. Just keep going. It's going to be 3-day weekend. I want everybody to come and enjoy Dilijan. Dilijan is gorgeous now. It's flowering everywhere. You
Fresh
put
air,
flowers,
fresh
good
air.
food, good drinks, and rock and roll together.
fresh
me-
air,
Yeah.
rock and roll, and alcohol. Goes well together.
Good food, good
Yeah.
drinks, good music.
Good alcohol.
Whatever you smoke.
So, can we hear your story? How did you start? I mean, how did you start Dol Mama and in Yerevan, first of all?
Okay, I'll go back to the rock and roll story.
Yeah.
I think people
let's
are
go
tired
there.
of listening about Dolma.
Oh, no.
But Dolma is great food, and I love doing it. But this event is
This is new.
this is something I want to do. It's like, for me, it's a brand giving birth to something new. For me at this age, it's a lot of fun.
You know, something that you mentioned when we were speaking before was this concept of rock and roll in the Soviet Union, and how there's this newness to you were mentioning the Beatles, the Beach Boys, Rolling Stones, and how there is this kind of forbidden jewel quality to the music that not only was it from kind of like the Soviet regulation, but also in the medium itself, the reel-to-reel tapes where it would go from one tape to the other, and it was unnamed.
And you would scotch it together because it will
It
rip
would
in the
rip.
middle.
Yeah. And there's this like quality where you don't even know what songs will be there, but you're like, let me play it just to hear it through. And there's this magical moment that occurs when you don't know what's about to be played, and then he plays. What is
Besides that, I never heard a sound like that. The sound of rock and roll was a brand new sound for Soviet kids' ears.
Okay,
mean,
I want details. What year, what song?
Well, first album I ever got as a gift, it came in like unexpectedly. Somebody came to Armenia, didn't know what to bring to our family because he was going to live in our home while studying in Armenian school. So he brought an album to somebody in the family. So I was that close by somebody. 12 years old, brought me an album, Beatles 64. And, my dad had a record player, one of those, the natural sound of rock and roll. So I put it on, listened to it, surprised, listened to it again, and then I never stopped listening to it. And then looked around for it in the country, and I found some reel-to-reel tapes, unknown singers singing some stuff, and everything was Beatles. Because since you didn't know who's singing, the song I remember was Beach Boys song, and it was Beatles. Animal singing House of the Rising Sun, it was the Beatles. Rolling Stones, and then I got a Rolling Stones album. And then I realized there is a difference. They were a little bit crooked. They were not as cute as the Beatles, and they were more aggressive than the Beatles.
But they had, behind it.
But they put things in. Yeah. Then I realized there is a world out there that is interesting. I started collecting records, and in those days, like my dad had to put up a lot of money for a 12-year-old kid to have like half of his salary go on one record.
Wow.
But he did it.
Wait, so why were the reel-to-reel tapes not labeled?
Because they were smuggled in. Basically, I mean, that music was a smuggled music. When I became 15 years old, I became part of a band. I started singing. And in the old days, this is how you sang. You would go to the university person responsible of opening and closing the doors, and we would give him some money. He would open the doors, and we would go to the stage and sell tickets, and people would come to the concerts. And then in the middle of it, he would call the police himself. And they would chase us or arrest us, and we would do it all over again and again and again. So like, it was a lot of fun.
So officially banned.
That sounds fun.
But kind of permitted, right? I mean,
it was like
if they really wanted,
Armenians dealt.
Yeah.
They dealt in information. They dealt in wealth. They, you know, which still goes on.
So if they really wanted to stop you, they could have, but the will probably wasn't there.
What would they do to a 15-year-old kid? What can they do to a kid who's singing in a language he doesn't understand? He's a policeman. They told him catch him. I mean, there is
just scare them.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah,
they would chase us from this door. We would get him from the window. And I mean, basically, it was a lot of excitement. Music-wise, once in a while you would get a glimpse of the earlier sound of it, like Elvis Presley. More or less, Elvis Presley came to Armenia a little bit earlier, but it was not part of that 60s rock and roll. And then once you do a little bit of an analysis, you realize it's where it all started. So the theme of this weekend is retrospective on my life through the rock and roll music that you will help me also play, because I know you have a lot of records.
Yeah, I'm going to be bringing part of my record collection up there for that weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he's going
you
to
didn't tell us about that.
Yeah, the surprise
so
part
modest.
is he's going to be a DJ for
I'll be there on
bit.
Friday. I'll be there on Sunday. I'll be there for a little while on Saturday, but then I'm going to have to come back in the Yerevan to do the radio show. But yeah, so I'll be spinning some good tunes, taking you down memory lane.
Jiraijan, do you cook yourself? Do you cook at home?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a master with knives and everything like that, but I create the food. I create most of the food that we eat.
Wow.
Most of the creation is done easy way, like I create it in my head, and then I try to find the formula to get to the taste that I have created in my head.
So it's improvising all the time?
Most of it, yeah.
That's great. A creative person is creative in everything. So what's your favorite dish?
Today we decided to make aveluk ishli kufta. I don't know how that's going to come out, but I kind of got it in my head that it might taste good.
So there's no meat inside?
If there's
no
garlic,
meat.
if there's garlic,
there is garlic.
Then it's good.
And there's garlic. There is dried fruit. There are walnuts.
Wow.
And aveluk.
Sounds good.
So it's quasi-vegetarian because the skin in itself has meat in it, but the inside is going to be completely vegetarian. So we might
semi-vegetarian.
Like wiggle ourselves into selling it to somebody who's not a crazy meat eater.
Do you have a favorite Armenian food dish?
Oh, just to be honest with you, everything that I have created, I like a lot.
But?
There is no but. Like, I'm trying to become the favorite. What do I eat a lot? I like rashta.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you what my favorite is?
Do you gain weight?
It's my favorite is, and it's probably the most interactive food that I've had that is Armenian because of the different layers are in it. It's yogurt soup, but
Spas.
not spas.
No.
It's the Western Armenian yogurt soup that has meatballs with a butter on the inside of the meatball. And let me tell you what's interesting about it is that when you cut it open, the butter spreads. Mm-hmm. And then you add this red pepper to the top, and then in order to eat it, you have a small piece of bread next to your hand with a spoon, and then sometimes
hungry.
with an onion.
It is good. I don't have that dish. That's a Western Armenian dish.
It is.
But when I sometimes order, I tell them to give me sapas with an ishli kufta in it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To get that taste.
The close to it, yeah.
I love that. The ishli kufta is one of my favorites. Now, original ishli kufta in the restaurant took me a whole month to create. I had the taste in my head, but I just couldn't find the way to get it there. And so I mixed this, mixed that, didn't work. Most of my gaining weight starts from tasting.
Experimenting with experimenting, trying to.
Eventually, I gave up on the whole idea. I said, whatever we had used this during this whole month, just pour it in it and let's try it, and it worked. So.
I know that you welcome a lot of tourists in your restaurant, and I know that you have a really special and a good way to represent what you make, and it's really a really good part of the whole ritual of enjoying the food. So I have a question. If you had a tourist who came here first time and he wants to try Armenian food, how would you explain to him what's so special about the Armenian food?
It's soul food. It's really, it's not decorative.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, my restaurant particularly is anti-small tasting portions. I love when people eat. So if two people want to share something, I want them to be able to share that. It's dividable. I mean, there are some restaurants that will give you something that cannot be divided between two people. I like the soul food. My main forte of the restaurant is hashlama, meaning stewing. There are steakhouses, and my restaurant would be considered like a stewing house. Slow cooking.
I'm curious as to, so your passion for being a restaurateur, it's inspiring actually, because not only have you opened one place, now you're opening a second place and creating a festival to kind of tie in different people making different foods.
Constant developing.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious about what you would say is the secret to success with regards to the experience you create for your customers or for the people that love your food. Because I've seen different restaurants where the lighting is important, the first step you walk in, the scent is important, the bathroom and the way that you have, let's say, cloth napkins versus paper napkins is important, these kind of details. And then, of course, the way that you present the food, the timing, that it's all together, the service. I'm curious as to what you see as the secret to success with regards to being a restaurateur, not in Armenia, just in general.
As a restaurateur, for me, a restaurateur is a host. The secret is the host in this case. Like if a restaurant works as a business, it's not the kind of restaurant like I like. I know it's a success stories. Mm-hmm. But they work as a business. It's a formula, the markup, there is a book on it. You can say, like, cost me 25 cents, I'm going to sell it for 80 cents, and this is it. But, like, when you're a host, you want to please. And if you want to please, you'll do everything. You look at it from the person's point of view while he's sitting there. What's he looking at? Where is his vision? What's he going to be seeing? And then the most important is the taste of the food, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just the taste.
Definitely.
Like, sometimes, the other things might not be there, but if the food is there, they'll forgive you.
Are you the final say in the dishes of your restaurants?
Yeah, I am.
And the chefs that you work with, are they kind of like, are they also participating in co-creating dishes, or
We do
is it?
co-create.
Yeah.
We do co-create. Because the taste, like for a guy who's not a cook himself, for him to describe taste, you got to go through people and say, this is the taste I want. Guys, come on, what can we do to get this taste? And then one person will say something, another person will say something else.
I'm curious about that. How is your co-creative process in terms of coming up with a dish? Because there's, from selecting ingredients to finding what's freshest to finding what different plays there are. The 5 tastes of salt, sweet, spicy, umami, and what was the 5th one?
Sour?
Sour. Thank you.
Okay.
How do you
keep
play?
trying
How do you
and
play
trying
with
and
that?
trying and trying.
No,
I'm curious about your answer.
I created in my head. First, it has a taste in my head. So for me to match that taste, I have to use the ingredients to get to that taste. Or in one case, it was I created the food for presentation purposes, like dolma.
The appearance, I see.
The appearance, like dolma, in my opinion, is a delicious food, but I couldn't serve it in my restaurant. I wanted a fork and a knife approach to the dolma. So instead of having a ground beef or ground meat, whatever the meat you would use for your dolma, I decided I'm going to have a slice of sirloin steak.
Beautiful.
To be able to slice it with a fork and a knife and to respect the food that they eat. So
You're like a food perfumer. Yeah.
well, okay, I'm
I
being
agree with
discovered by myself.
So I'm also,
We're-
oh,
We're gonna go on a short break and come back with more questions.
I have so many
for
questions.
Giray Ravanyan. Stay tuned.
People love talking about food.
Yeah, because people love to eat.
And I'm sitting here hungry. I
Yeah,
just realized
yeah,
that
and
I
I'm
really
getting
haven't
hungry.
eaten anything for most of the day.
Now, what happens after you finish this program? Are you 3 of you free?
Let's discuss that during the advertisement
Yeah,
break.
we'll talk about that during the break.
Stay tuned. This is the Great American Weekend. Be jealous. La la la.
Վարչապետ Նիկոլ Փաշինյանը հեռախոսազրույց է ունեցել Ղազախստանի նախագահ Նուրսուլթան Նազարբաևի հետ։
Oh, could they just speak a little bit slower?
Don't worry. You can catch local news, events, and culture in English every Saturday on Great American Weekend.
Welcome back to the Great American Weekend here on Radio Vaughan. We're back with our guest, Girard. And I've got a question.
Gérard. That
you
sounded
had-
in French.
yeah, I know. I'm horrible with
Girard
pronunciations.
No, but that's good.
But it's
I like
such
it.
an
Horrible.
I
Armenian
like it.
name. It's Girard.
Yeah.
It's a very
which
simple
means,
Armenian. It's an active person,
yeah.
active men person.
Okay.
See, you learned something, master.
I did. So you were singing in a rock band as long as they would let you until the police came and chased you out of the auditorium before you ever saw like real live rock and roll music.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, definitely.
But when was your first live experience?
1971. At the end of 70, we moved to United States. So in 1971, there was a concert in Long Island, New York, and it was Led Zeppelin concert.
Oh.
And it wasn't my favorite band at that time, but I thought I gotta go see Led Zeppelin. Now I'll explain to you later why it wasn't my favorite band. But I went to see their concert and didn't like the concert. They were stoned out of their head. They just couldn't connect 2 notes together. They were stoned more than we were trying to listen to them. So
Stoned on what?
at that time, marijuana.
Yeah.
All the time was marijuana. Marijuana, the smell of marijuana was in the air all the time. Even if you didn't smoke, you were high. A bottle of cheap apple wine would be traveling from row to row until it's finished, until a new one would come. It was a social event. Basically, concerts were social events. And then in 72, in my opinion, there was a festival in New York Central Park. It was called the Schaefer Music Festival. And then the rest of the concerts were like most of them from the Schaefer Music Festival. I remember I went to see Creedence Clearwater Revival.
I love them, man. I love them.
You know the mood you should be in when you're in it's a bit of country, a bit of rock and roll, like driving music, and there is an opening act. A grand piano gets pulled into an opener for a Creedence Clearwater Revival was Elton John.
What?
Whoa.
Elton John opened
they announced a young man from England. He's here. Please welcome him. So nobody's in the mood for a grand piano. Basically, nobody. And we booed him out of there. We booed Elton John out of the stage because nobody was in the mood for that.
EJ got booed off of a CCR stage.
It was his first concert in the United States. And then he went on to... he did a couple of like TV shows, and he did Johnny Carson show at one point, and that's where he's caught on and
this was in 72 in Central Park.
Hey, look, 72 for me is like 71 and 73. They're all mixed up, but it was a concert for Creedence Clearwater Revival. Where you want to listen to Susie Q. Susie Q. And
what's the best concert you've ever seen?
Elton John.
Dave Mason. Dave Mason gave one of those concerts like the guy just didn't want to go home. He was in such a great mood, like it was a 4-hour concert, and then when everybody's just clapping him, he would come back and sing another Twain song or something like that. I mean, it was the longest concert I've been to. Dave Mason and Bob Dylan. Believe it or not, Bob Dylan rocked Madison Square Garden like nobody had rocked it. And Bob Dylan is not a rocker. I mean, he's a ballad singer. He's a poet. I love Bob Dylan, but like he's not a kind of a guy you would rock. He rocked. He had a band called The Band.
Oh, okay.
Remember, he had a band which was a rocking band, and he would sing with them once in a while. And that concert was The Band and Bob Dylan. And I remember it was a terrific concert with a heartbreak and bit of disappointment. I went to see John Lennon, and John Lennon's concert was spoiled by Yoko Ono.
Just like his life.
Yeah, it was spoiled. But
the man was in love. The man was in love.
That's right. And I would be John Lennon because for love I do stupid things. I'm ready to do stupid things. You hear me? I'll do stupid things for it.
Jiraj, since our show is also about childhood, I'd like to ask you, what makes a happy childhood, in your opinion?
Oh, yeah.
Just being young and child is a happy childhood. Being Armenian family child is also a happy childhood because you still have, no matter what they say, we're conservative and this and that, but you still know they love you. You know there is a home to go to, and that's the home. Your dad screaming at you and your mom telling you that I'm going to tell your dad about it. I mean, that's... but my mom didn't know. I was more scared of her than my dad. But she would always say, I'm going to tell your dad about it.
We had that in the U.S. too.
I'm sure
you'd get in trouble and your mom would say, oh, just wait until your father gets home.
Yeah, but my
then
wife
nothing
never
happened.
did that. She never scared me with my children with me. That was a terrific part of my life.
I always loved walking and going to places with my dad when I was a child because everything was... I mean, whatever I wanted, it was bought. I was totally spoiled. and nothing was forbidden.
Wasn't much to buy, but being with your dad, like,
it's always
you
fun.
You were the princess.
Yeah, exactly.
You knew you were the princess.
I'm my dad's girl.
In an Armenian family, a child grows up being a prince or a princess.
That is true, yeah.
Unfortunately, some of the princes become bad kings, but then, and the
sometimes they think
become bitches, but
sometimes the problem is about it is because they sometimes think they are kings, but they're not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know the transformation from childhood to growing up, but it's okay. Hey, we're fine.
So
Getting my bread, cheese, and tomato sandwich, going out to play soccer, football for 10 hours a day was the greatest memory for me.
Nice.
What do you think about this quote? We are all products of our childhood. This is what Michael Jackson said during his speech.
I agree with him. I'm a product of my childhood. Never left it. Never left it. I'm
You're
still
a lucky
growing
man.
up. When I was younger, I was smarter. Now I'm not, and I'm happy with it. Last year, when I became 66 years old, I want everybody to know, was the year that I enjoyed every time being wrong.
Wow.
When somebody told me, hey, can you imagine how wrong you were for so many years? And I said, wow.
Yeah. Yes, I did it.
And it's not the influence of alcohol.
So how?
Trust me.
Not just the influence of alcohol. So how old were you when you moved to the U.S.?
18.
18. Okay. So you were no longer a child.
No,
I was going to ask.
I graduated
like,
high school here.
And you
I I did half a year of college in Armenia, and then half of the semester I went to United States, and that was the only half a year of college I have.
How big was the culture shock?
None. None whatsoever. I was absolutely ready for it. But at that time, for you to go from Soviet Union to United States, you had to go to a country which would be a buffer zone. Like in our case was Lebanon, and some other cases was Italy. So some families would go from here to Italy and then to United States, or from here to Lebanon and then to United States. Now, shocking was Lebanon. Now, Soviet Union was very much like United States. It was a huge country.
I can notice surprised, Steve's surprised face.
No. It was absolutely a huge country. People with big ambitions. Let's fly to the moon. Okay, let's fly to the moon. I mean, in Lebanon, let's work in a shoe production. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was a contrast for us. For a Soviet person in Lebanon, having that contrast was a contrast. When I went to United States, I was the same rocker as I was in Soviet Armenia.
Only it was easier to find the records.
That's right. The first album in United States, I bought Jethro Tull, Aqualung. That was the first album I bought.
So how about, I'm going to read off a list of artists or bands. Tell me your favorite song.
Or if I like it or not.
Or if you like it or not. I think these are all ones you like. I think I know you well enough. Elvis.
Blue Suede Shoes.
Nice. Chuck Berry.
Johnny B. Good.
Beatles.
All their songs.
Yeah, you can't. How
all
about
their songs. Like,
for you, is there a difference between early Beatles and late Beatles? Do you like the early stuff better than the late stuff, or
if it wasn't for the early Beatles, I wouldn't be in the later Beatles.
Okay.
But I'm very happy that the later Beatles followed the early Beatles.
Stones, Rolling Stones.
Just about every song. Satisfaction was the first one. Sympathy for the Devil.
Oh, that's
Sympathy
a great
for
one.
the Devil. I'll tell you a story.
I hate to interrupt you guys, but we're out of time.
Sympathy for the Devil was ordered
on you. Good on you for doing
102.7 FM as a birthday present for Girard on his birthday.
Nice.
Somebody ordered that for me in United States as a gift.
Very cool.
It was,
and I've heard Mick Jagger said that the lyrics to that song were inspired by him reading Mikhail Bulgakov's Master and Margarita.
Thank you for being with us in the studio
Come to
tonight.
Dilijan, everyone. We're gonna have
Everyone
fun.
to Dilijan. The
14th,
fast
15th, and 16th
The
of
fest-
this month.
food
Fast food and
festival.
eclectica music fest.
Good food, good music. I'll be there spinning some of my vinyls.
And Jirai
good
also
drinks.
is going to rock you all. We'll be back soon with more surprises for you guys. Stay tuned. This is the Great American Weekend, the childhood. And we have a caller. Sorry, guys, we're going on a break.
Hello?
Hi, is your refrigerator running?
No, it doesn't have any legs.
Some American jokes just don't work with foreigners.
We're back in the studio and we're back in our childhood, and we have a surprise guest for all our listeners. The youngest guest of the Great American Weekend is now here in our studio. Hello. Hey, Emmy.
Hey there.
Hi.
How's it going?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
What's your name? Can you introduce yourself to all of our listeners?
My name is Emmy.
What's your full name?
Mamalisa Donatelle.
Okay,
Oh,
wonderful.
hey.
How old are you?
5
Okay. Where do you live?
in Hayastan.
Yeah. Okay, what do you do in Hayastan?
Do homework.
Very cool. Very smart.
What
Very
kind of
smart
homework
answer.
do you do?
At school.
At school? Yeah, but what do you do?
I do work.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
And you go to school doing. Do you also play games at school?
Yeah.
What kind of games?
A lot of games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do the games involve color?
No.
What about painting? Is that a game?
No.
No. What's painting?
It's drawing.
Painting's boring.
No,
it's drawing.
Oh.
Drawing.
Oh, drawing. Yeah, painting is like drawing. That's right.
Yeah.
What other games do you play at school?
Do you like
do you
our
play
studio?
football at school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Wait, soccer,
Soccer or football?
Football.
She knows it by both names.
football.
Yeah. Do you kick the ball well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you made a goal before?
Yeah.
What did it feel like when you made a goal?
I just go to the boys' net.
Yeah,
That
you
goes
put the
into
ball in the
boys'
net. That's very good.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
Do you like our studio?
Yeah.
Is it cool to be here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your day. And you can ask also questions to us
Yeah, what day is
whenever
it
you
today?
want.
Is it a holiday today?
Yeah.
Yeah, what holiday?
Our holiday.
The kids' holiday?
Yeah.
Yeah, Children's Day?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what did you do today?
I just go to the puppet theater and go to the contest,
Oh, cool.
and then I go to the ice cream place.
What did you do at the ice cream place?
Eat ice cream.
Yeah. What else did you do at the ice cream place?
I just borrowed a candy that is very cold.
A candy that was really cold. Nice. Was it sweet?
Yeah.
Ah. What flavor was it?
Chocolate.
Oh, that's my favorite. I love chocolate.
What's your favorite candy?
Lollipop.
Oh, yeah. I like it too. It's my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Okay.
Hey, Emma, can I ask you, have you ever looked at the stars?
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered what it's like if each of the stars was like the sun?
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of interesting to think about that?
No.
That's exactly the
What
right
is
answer.
the sun, Emmy?
Is a star.
Yeah. And what goes around the sun?
The Earth.
Yeah.
Emmy,
Does
you're
it go
so
around?
smart.
Does it go around the sun all
you.
by itself?
Yeah.
There's nothing else going around the sun.
Mercury.
That's right.
How many planets are there?
7.
7. Can you name them?
So smart.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn.
What's the blue one? N.
Rhymes with June.
June.
No, it sounds like June, but it's really Tune.
Neptune.
Yeah, you got it.
And you know what, Emmy? For all the answers you gave us, you have a prize because you're such a smart child.
Yeah.
You're a real dad's girl. And here I want to hand these sunglasses to you through. I think they go really good with your dress.
You have the honor of having these golden sunglasses.
You're our youngest.
Can you put them on?
Oh,
They look
you're
super
welcome. You're gonna be the coolest guest of all times of our show. And now
Thank you.
we're ready to go on a break, an advertisement break. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Now we're gonna listen to an advertisement and then we will come back with more surprises.
Okay.
On the Great American Weekend.
Say, this is the Great American Weekend.
This is the Great American Weekend.
Oh, good
You
job.
got it.
Children rule.
Yeah.
Ina, what would make America great again?
More barbecue.
No, we need more freedom. That's what'll make it great.
Join us on Great American Weekend.
And help us solve all of America's problems.
Every show is recorded by the NSA and sent to the White House.
Oh, is it?
Welcome back to the Great American Weekend. We are here with our next group of guests. Emmy, who joined us? Who's in the studio with us now?
Me, Daniela,
Who's Daniela?
my sister,
Yeah, Daniela Donatel. Who else is here?
Katja, and Diana.
Guyana.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thank you for having us. We have 4 American Armenian children in the studio with us for International Children's Day. Although, I mean, really children.
Come on.
Okay, sorry.
Youth.
18.
Youths.
Almost.
Youths.
Almost
Youngins.
18.
Not ankle biters. You're bigger than that.
I wonder if they have like International Youth Day instead of like International Children's Day.
I don't know.
Do
That's a
they?
good question.
We're all
Google it.
children.
The youths.
At heart,
Google it.
children.
We're all the children of God.
So we've got some questions for you guys. The first one that I want to ask is, so the 3 of you, well, and Emmy too, the 4 of you, have basically grown up here in Armenia, but you've also spent a significant amount of time in the U.S. You have friends and relatives there. You guys go every year to visit, right? Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think are the pros and the cons of each place as kids growing up?
Do you guys want to go first? Because you've spent more time in the States than I have.
Well, I mean, oh wait, is it like, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so, what are some pros and cons?
Let's start with Armenia.
I mean, Armenia is our home.
Yeah, I think we
and
can all
there's
agree
like
with that.
no place like home. So
that's true.
Armenia also has something special about it. So the States, I don't know, it's just not the same.
Yeah, America I think is more. I don't know. It doesn't feel as homey as Armenia does in Yerevan, especially.
Yeah.
And I think a pro would definitely be a pro of living in Yerevan is you kind of. You're part of this community. Just being in this city makes you part of a community.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's much more enclosed.
Inclusive.
Yeah, it's very inclusive because there's different things going on, and as a kid or as someone our age, it's very safe.
And it's great for your upbringing.
Yeah, it is.
Because you feel very loved and you really feel like you're a part of something that's bigger than you.
Yeah, and you.
Whereas in America, you're just a kid growing up with many other, kids. But here it's like all of you are one, you know?
Yeah, and the environment is different too. You feel very protected because everyone knows everyone, more or less. Everyone talks to everyone. So
you go into a shop and you know 3 different people.
3, that's
Yerevan is definitely a small town in that respect. Yeah.
Literally
But
like a wedding.
Maybe we should clarify. So where have you guys spent most of your time in the U.S.?
New York.
New York.
New York and New Jersey.
Minnesota, a bit
That's where I'm from.
New York?
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, where's my license plate?
which
man?
borough?
Well, I'm not from New York. I'm not from New York, the city. I'm from Rockland County. So it's like the 7th borough. But I lived in Brooklyn for 5 years and then East Harlem for 3 years.
Where are you from originally?
From Rockland County, from Palisades, New York, from
No, like
near Nyack.
Armenian.
Like you mean like the ancestral origin?
Yeah.
My parents came from Syria, from Aleppo, and from Azez, and then before that, Sassoon, Kilis, and Urfa, which is now Shanli Urfa.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I'm going to put an end to that at least for now. You guys, in the next segment, we're going to flip things around and you guys can interview.
Oh, that's right, the questions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was one question that I wanted to ask.
Did you do your homework?
I wanted to.
Emmy did our homework.
You know,
So she prepared all the questions for you guys?
homework is very particular to the soul.
Why are they giving... Yeah, we have questions.
So great.
That's what I meant.
Our question is if you have questions. So that's great. That answers everything. So I have a question for you guys, and I would for all 4 of you actually. And this is to kind of follow the line of the way of thinking that Steve consistently is introduced into our show, which is kind of like a philosophical, intellectual approach. And it's a very simple question.
Oh boy.
What is the meaning and purpose of life?
Don't know.
I have a follow-up question. Are you familiar with Camus? If you are, I will not go into it.
Incredible.
I
In
am.
case you hadn't guessed,
That's a great
my
reference.
child.
Yeah, I am, but I would like you to elaborate.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll, this is like a very poorly written
Look at
summary
her
in
slowly
my mind.
kicking me out of like
Get out of here. Okay.
You're next.
Yeah. No. You're following.
Okay,
this
go.
Okay, so basically, each person they're brought into this world, and they have to decide what life means to them for themselves. No one tells you what the meaning of life is. There is no definition. There is no concrete meaning of life because it's impossible to define. So each person has to decide that for themselves, and it's particular for everyone.
And what is it for you?
For me?
Yeah.
My personal meaning of life right now is trying to find my meaning of life, the meaning of my life. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Very good answer.
I'm a kid. Damn. I think Emmy would have a better answer this than I do. But
Let's go to Emmy then.
Emmy, what is the meaning of life? Don't be shy.
This is interesting.
42.
Yeah.
I told her to say that.
Now,
Yeah, we
Katya,
heard
what is
it.
yours?
No cheating.
Well, I think we can all agree. Daniela, whatever she said.
I mean,
You have to make your own meaning, your own purpose in life. Yeah. Because, I mean, to be real, we're this little planet floating around, and one day I guess we're gonna explode.
Not the planet's gonna explode. We're gonna explode.
just you know, you're at a store and then you're like, you know what?
Spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
That's very
Spontaneous combustion
optimistic.
is a thing.
So you have to just
Combust.
go with the flow and kind of establish your own purpose, contribute to other people's lives, try and change lives, try and change the world as much as you can.
You
And-
see,
yeah.
the kids are smarter and more mature
That's
than
their
even
answer.
grown-ups.
Actually,
I mean,
I have a follow-up question just before I
But
go
wait,
to
wait,
praising
no,
you.
we have to. Diana has to give her answer.
Yes,
Oh, that's right.
Yes, Diana has to.
Diana.
Well, no, specifically about world changing. It was like, is it world changing? Like Elon Musk wants to send like atomic bombs to Mars and then blowing up.
Elon Musk can do what he wants. We have a dilemma, I think.
The Boring Company was founded when he was in the car in traffic, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna make a tunnel, and then he starts making a tunnel, and then he's gonna make a flamethrower, and then he sends his car into space. That's the summary of Elon Musk.
It sounds like the perfect setup for like an evil villain or like a great superhero, and you don't know which one
He's
yet.
a mad scientist that no one can defy.
Yeah.
He's just gonna send
Or
everyone
define
that too.
Yeah.
They're like, Elon Musk is not one of us. Is he yours? No.
So what is your meaning for
Doing his
life?
own thing. Mine is, I mean, personally, I think that my meaning of life, or what I think the meaning of life is to somehow find try to come to, like, first find your meaning, is because everyone has a role, whether they like it or not, as insignificant as it is. Like, for example, let's say you would like to be a writer. Okay, you still have a role. You would like to share your knowledge, your creativity, your happiness and joy to other people. And so this is adding on to Daniela's, really. It's like, it's just, everyone has their role in this big circle of life. And
speaking of Elton John.
Right.
Exactly.
Booing Elton John.
Or Johnny Mitchell, Joni Mitchell.
Yeah. Joni
Circle
Mitchell.
Game.
Hey,
Yeah,
girls. I also got a question for you girls. So, if you were given a chance to open a special place for kids, for teens, in Yerevan, what would it be?
Well,
use your fantasy.
Do it, Kat. Go for it.
Create whatever you can in
Go-
your mind.
Go for it.
Should I go
Laser
for
tag.
it?
Laser tag.
What do you mean
Carpe
by
diem.
I mean, a special place where kids can like play, have fun. What do we
Like
lack
an
here?
amusement park? Oh.
Anything.
Just like something that brings people together.
You get no hints here.
Should I do
from-
it? Should
Yeah,
I
just
go?
go for it. Go for it.
Just go for it.
I think Ina's asking.
You've
like,
done something, so say
Okay,
it.
fine. But, should I?
Yeah, just do it.
I watched this movie, Social Networking, and now I'm afraid that someone's gonna
Just
steal
talk.
the concept.
Just talk.
I created
mic,
I created a like a student, like, how do you say Hamike?
It's like a community.
Community.
Yeah, a student community and an advisory to the government.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Like a platform for students to communicate. And we are
And how would you name it?
United Student Council.
She's already working on
Perfect.
it, and it's starting to spread to different schools.
And also, it might spread to Georgia.
So close
and
to
then in the
United
future.
Students Association, which would be the acronym would be USA. Sorry, just to make it American.
Yeah, honestly, I was about to name it and I was like US A, and then no. Then that
A bald eagle just
And it's like, the Americans are trying to already influence us through the
Someone
youth.
mentions America, a bald eagle in the distance hears you.
Yeah, right,
And then I
exactly.
was like, USC, like the California school. And I was like, oh, college scandal. I was like, well, I'll just go with that.
Stay away from that.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
So
Danielle?
Yeah,
Go for it.
No.
Okay,
go for
so well, I actually saw that question written down before coming in here, so I had a bit of time to think about it. But I've also been considering, like, when I go to
very
college and I
honest of
come
you.
back, one thing I've been thinking about is how cool it would be if, like, different kids in Yerevan would be able to come together and sort of share their art and express themselves, because I know a lot of creative people who are my peers, and there aren't a whole lot of places where these artists can come together. And when I look at it, like the Lost Generation, the Beat Generation, and just like the Parisian School of Art, like different artists, they all had these communities and places to come together, and I feel like it would be very interesting and just different, and it would help everyone grow in a way, whoever was part of it, to have this space where artists my age, including myself and including the people who are sitting on this couch with me, could come together and share their art and give input to each other about the things that we're creating, because I feel like there's a lack of that at the moment. There are a lot of artists, but there's a lack of a solid community.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Daniela. You girls, I have to say, you girls are awesome. Emmy, Daniela, Gayane, and Katya. Now we're ready for a small song break.
Yeah,
which
our
is
time
called,
is up.
Yeah,
And
our
after
time
the break,
is up.
it's
We're
your
going
time.
home. We're going
It's your time.
To interview you guys.
You get to interview us.
And you guys ready?
Oh, joy.
And our listeners will see what it looks like to be a host.
Yeah. My have the turns tabled.
Daniela and I.
You guys are ready? So we're gonna listen to Through
No.
the Eyes of a Child, a song, and we'll be back soon. Get ready. This is something special.
What's the best word in American English?
My all-time favorite word is but I usually refer to it as lovemaking.
Become more fluent in American English and
It's like even when I'm not. Yeah, we're back with the Great American Weekend.
I just hear my dad.
I'm your host, Guy Hovnanian, and we're joined here with.
That's gonna kill you for saying that.
Hovnanian Alexanian, I'm sorry. And we're.
Leave your family drama out.
And we're ready to be interviewed here in the studio.
Yes, we're joined here by the cast. Steve Donatel and Ina and Hazma.
Cutie.
That's me.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, we have some questions for you guys.
Hello,
And,
guys.
like,
It's so nice to be in the studio. Thanks for inviting us.
You're
no
welcome.
problem. Happy to have you
This
here.
is your day,
This is
so happy,
your pleasure.
happy,
This is
happy
the best
holidays.
radio, and you guys, very special people here. Oh, oops. I'm new to this. I am a new employee.
Yeah, same. We're all new here.
We're unpaid interns. Child labor. This is not a joke.
Paid for
But your
experience.
probation period of 20 minutes was just perfect, so you guys are welcome.
Yeah, that was like the
Welcome
job interview. We got the jobs. We're here now.
We're
Okay.
hired.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we have some questions for you. We're going to be more or less improvising. But
Okay, ready?
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So
Shoot.
What is life?
What is life?
to you,
I can answer it with a symbol without even words.
what is the symbol?
I don't have my glasses.
It says "e" in Armenian.
Oh.
It just
What's
means
life?
is.
A is AO2,
Eh.
right?
Yeah, it's like
That's cool.
Fair enough.
it is. It is.
To be.
To be.
Or not to be. Let's throw some Shakespeare in there. Okay.
All right, moving on.
On that note.
Okay, your turn, Steve.
If they were grading us, you would have gotten what, a C on that one, and
An E. Yeah. And for effort.
Yeah.
Well, I have a good question.
Ask it. Okay. Yeah.
And I would like to remind our new employees that you should speak closer to
Like
the
this?
microphone. Yeah, just like that.
Does that apply
And
to me
don't-
too?
Like,
There
can
you go.
Can you hear anything?
So it's my
I can't
turn
hear
to
anything.
answer the question.
Yes.
Life is love to me. When you don't love what you do or you don't love people around you, life is meaningless. So it's like just being there somewhere. It's not living for me. So this is my opinion. Thank you.
That's a really
Guys,
good
the
answer.
more you know. Yeah, love
kinda
is
like
Next
love is
question,
life.
please.
I have
Yeah.
an alternate answer.
Okay. What would that be?
Atoms, emptiness, and opinions. This is life.
And Twitter. You forgot Twitter.
Oh yeah.
You gotta have Twitter in there.
Snapchat.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Snapchat,
kind of
do
a
that.
Snapchat. Yeah.
Sisyphus.
Sisyphus.
MySpace.
Sisyphus.
Plagiarism. You plagiarized my Twitter.
What?
Anywho, next question.
Next question.
Okay. So since today is International Children's Day, can you each remember like something extremely memorable from your childhood, each of your childhoods that may or may not have had a huge effect on who you are now or who you are like right in this instant?
thinking that. It's like
High
telekinesis.
five. It's the
Should Ina take
No.
this one first?
Yes.
Why did you do that to me? Okay.
What, you don't
Okay.
like
Being
reminiscing about your childhood?
Yeah. Well, one of the coolest memories of my childhood, as I mentioned it before, was going to some places with my dad, because if I told him to buy like 10 bubble gums, I would get no. And so it was like our little secret, going places and having no stuff forbidden. So for me, it's like the greatest things, because when you grow up, you don't get this opportunity to, you have to follow rules and be more mature and pretend that you're such a serious person.
Or you can just not. You can be an anarchist and just.
Okay, thanks for the advice. I will try to do that.
Be like Elon Musk and send your car to space, because.
Well, Elon Musk probably has more than one car.
I know. I would like to see you do that.
And more than one childhood.
Wow. Anywho, so
How do you do that?
Who's next?
Yeah, who's next?
Okay,
The next
childhood.
question.
Yeah, interpretation.
You
Steven,
guys
you wanna take this?
don't let these guys, loosen up, because
I mean,
you rule in this place.
We
and
rule.
Just
Okay.
make them answer the questions.
Okay.
Steven?
Yes.
Come to the blackboard.
I'm just gonna put my nails on it.
I already imagine that sound.
Oh no.
I don't know. Some of my best memories from childhood, I would have to say, are my family's weekends up at our lake cabin in northern Minnesota, which would entail everything from, running around, helping my dad, my uncle, and my grandfather fix things up there, because at a lake cabin there's always something that needs to be fixed. Something's always broken, so I'd be running around getting tools for them, helping them fix things, to swimming, to bathing the dog in the lake, water skiing. So it was a big mix of fun and chores and work, but it was all about family. And that is some of my best childhood memories, I think.
And how do you think that translates into your current life?
He can't even change the light bulbs without getting distracted.
I can't actually. I can't change light bulbs without getting distracted. I used to not be able to change light bulbs now without electrocuting myself in this country. I don't know how many times I've gotten zapped in this country playing with electrical wires and
Might wanna
changing
stop
light
doing
bulbs.
that.
And stuff. Yeah, I stopped. Well, no, I haven't stopped. I've got a project
It's an
next week.
obsession.
It's such a rush. Have you never been electrocuted before? It's such a rush.
Friend Tony got
No, I mean, but to
electrocuted.
answer the question seriously, the follow-up question, I guess that's part of the reason why I try to spend so much time with my family, my wife and kids, because those are, family time was a big thing for me when I was a kid.
Aw, this is a real moment of honesty here on air at Radio Von 103.1, the Great American Weekend, hosted and conquered by the kids right now.
The American Armenian children.
Did she just brand your family moment right now? I think she just did that. She literally was like, by the way, there's a 103, one. It's like,
All right.
Let's make t-shirts.
So, next up, and now it's your turn.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah.
What was the question? I was like taken by the story. It was just what was the question?
So like a childhood moment or something from your childhood that really struck you and that sort of still resonates with you now.
Yeah. So one time, my father sat me down and he noticed that I really loved Garfield cartoons, and he taught me how to very simply take the shapes of Garfield and to create his face. And I saw how simple it was to create those shapes in combination that would make that impression of Garfield. And it took me on this journey of because I received the reward when I was able to do that, and that reward led me on this journey to kind of explore creating beauty, because I saw that would make people happy around me. So whenever I would make like a beautiful, let's say like watercolor of a Christmas scene and would show it to my folks, and they'd be like, wow, that's fantastic. There was this like reciprocal reward. So it kind of led me down this path of creating beauty in the world, and in doing so kind of serving humanity in a way by creating beauty. So in a way that changed my life. That simple Garfield cartoon, and I've been creating art or working art or being in creativity since. Yeah. So, yes.
Okay, so we're going to be
Thanks,
taking
Dad.
a little break. Thank you for your answer, and we'll be right back.
Thank you for the question.
This is the Great American Weekend
It's
on
so-
Radio
was
Vaughan.
So American.
exclusive Great American
done?
Weekend. Thank you
That was
guys
it?
for being here.
That's it? I want more.
We're still on
Yeah, we
air.
want
We're
more.
still on air.
Oh.
And we're going to come back with the calendar of events, and the
that's
kids
right.
will be still here, so stay tuned.
That's it?
Yeah.
Hey, what kind of fixins do you like on your hot dog?
Fixins?
Yeah, relish, onions, mustard, ketchup, condiments.
Conda?
No, not that.
Oh, fixins. I love chili dogs.
Learn about American cuisine on the Great American Weekend.
The Steve voice. And
Welcome.
we're back. Welcome back to the, welcome back to the Great American Weekend. We're going to be reading off the calendar of events.
Yeah, just all the cool stuff that's going to be happening around Yerevan or in
Exactly. It's going to be really cool.
Okay.
So, Cuts is up first.
So first up, we have debate club. Do you want to improve your English skills and learn how to debate? Join the debate club every Friday at 4 p.m. with Jim
Dally.
Okay. This week's debate topic is traditions and the modern society. The participants are invited to express their viewpoints and support their position on these questions.
All very interesting.
Daniela and I, favorite club, reading club. If you enjoy a good story and want to expand your vocabulary, as well as practice your listening and speaking skills, join the Yerevan Armenian Corners Reading Club every Monday at 3 p.m.
Be there or be square. We will try and be there.
Exactly.
Guy in it.
So here we have the Teenage Club. Every Friday at 3 p.m., the Yerevan American Corner invites all teenagers to their weekly Teenage Club, where you can improve your English and learn more about American culture and lifestyle. Okay. No homework. No homework, at all.
Sorry,
No
Emmy.
assignments. Only games, discussions, group activities, and tons of fun. That sounds incredible. Anyway, moving on to movies in English at Kino Park Yerevan Mall. From June 1st to 5th, we have Aladdin at 5:40 p.m. Now, I'm totally pumped to seeing Blue Genie killed by Will Smith.
Yay, Will Smith, let's
so
go.
iconic. And then we have Godzilla, King of the Monsters at 4:20 and 10:50 p.m.
What?
Godzilla, they're
How
doing
many
that
movies have there
Godzilla
been?
Too many.
Too many.
Exactly.
Again?
It's like, I'm not going to get a lizard because of that movie, but that's besides the point.
Lizardian Society.
Anyway, so we have The Secret Life of Pets 2. Yes, there's a second one.
Did there need to be a second one?
No.
You know, it's
Wait, trying to promote things, Danielle.
exactly. So it's at 1:55 and 5:55 p.m. And then, wait for it, Rocket Man at 8:15 p.m. I am stoked for that movie, personally. And then we go on to opera and ballet theater. Semi-stage opera, Il Viaggio a Re... My teacher's gonna kill me.
Skyler, we only have 7 minutes.
Okay,
Go.
okay. It's on June 4th at 7 p.m. Ballet in 2 acts, Masquerade. Ooh, June 6th at 7 p.m. Now we're moving on to Daniela.
Alright, so I'm going to be talking about music and festivals. So these are things that I'm personally looking forward to. Maybe the first on the list, not so much. But June 3rd at 7 p.m. a concert for kids by Odevner Children's Band at the Stanislavski Theater, which Emmy will probably be going to. June 6th at 9:30 p.m. a dialogue project will be live at Kami Music Club. June 2nd at 9:30 p.m. a new quintet and double drums project at Club 12. So things to look forward to. And as for fests and festivals, fest food and Eclectica Music Fest, June 14th to 16th, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Flying Ostrich, as you already know if you've been tuning in for this long. Let's go. In Dilijan. And Yerevan Color Fest, June 8th at 4 p.m. at Marshtad Street, which is always a lot of fun to go to if you're okay with getting all colorful and
sweaty.
Yes, a lot of that. And if you love rock and roll, burgers, sausages, kebab, wraps, beer, wine, vodka, then this party is for you. I'm into rock and roll, the rest, not so much, but yeah, this seems cool. A weekend of music and food. One of the DJs is Jiraid Avanyan. June 8th at 5 p.m. Tunnel Festival. This is an urban art festival which will be held in one of the most unique public areas in the Kond Pedestrian Tunnel. If you haven't been there for Urvagan, it's a really cool place,
So cool.
and they've decked it out more or less.
I've always wondered what it was like when I was a child, and now you can experience it yourself.
Yeah, very cool. Lots of creative people putting their art there. And then as for expos, Felix Between Cycles Expo is being held from June 2nd at Marshtad Saryan House Museum, and the opening is at 6 p.m. And then I'd also add to... Yeah. And then I'd also like to add something myself. The students of IB High School are holding a exhibition at the Kochar Museum, and it opened yesterday, but it's up until the 12th.
Art fair, yeah.
Yeah, it's for the art fair, and there are just different student works there, which are inspired by different artists, including Kochar, Fernand Léger, Pablo Picasso, and different artists of that era in Paris. So please come and check it out. We'd love to see you there.
Exactly. Well,
thank you for
to wrap
tuning
it up.
in.
Time's up.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us on the Great American
We'll be back soon.
Weekend.
And now
We
you have
are
to
your
invite us.
hosts, Gayana Hovnanian Alexandrian, Katya, and then we have Katya Hovnanian Alexandrian, Daniela
here.
Donatel.
Yeah, see you guys next week. We're taking over.
Yeah, literally. Just
Go
like
kids.
Say bye to
All right.
Ina MK.
Bye.
See you next weekend.
Ciao.